I've always had a very, very small circle. 5 to 6 friends in college, barely spoke to anybody else. But fast forward to now, I've built an entire career from networking. How did I do that? Keep watching. I've always identified as an introvert. Now, there are different nuances in introversion. Two of my biggest ones were first, overthinking. So I'd go into a social situation and I would just overthink the entire thing. And that would really affect my communication. The next thing for me was being completely and utterly exhausted after social situations. I would go to a social gathering, even with friends, people I already know, those 5 to 6 people in college. And the next day I would be utterly exhausted, just drained. And I needed time to myself, time to regain energy. That's an introverted trait. I simply didn't value networking. I didn't see what was so valuable about it. I thought that my time would be better spent studying, would be better spent reading, would be better spent doing something that would better myself. Why would talking to another human or building relationship with another human benefit me? How would that provide value for the future? All of this would change when I met my first boss, Erwin. And if you're watching this, hi. He built his entire business from networking. It was his currency. He taught me a lot of things, but overall, he would show me the value of networking. Not only to be successful in business, not only to be successful in life, but also to be successful in my character. I realized that building relationships not only helps in other aspects of success, but also helps me to grow. Today, I'm going to share with you 5 tips that I've learned along the way by trial and error. The first point has to do with mindset. No one can reach the level of success that is possible without connection. The earth is an ecosystem. We are all connected. Every single one of us. And furthermore, humanity thrives, lives, and breathes on connection. Now, I had to see this in order to believe this. And that's where my boss comes in. I saw that his entire company was built off of networking. Now, how did he do this? And this is very, very important. He built connections sometimes without any benefit to him. The person wasn't necessarily in his industry, couldn't open a door for him, couldn't really benefit him in any way. Yet he still valued the connection. Eventually, building a network so expansive that he became valuable by being a connector. So even though he had made a connection with somebody who wasn't necessarily of value to him in the moment, he could provide value by connecting that person with someone else in his network. He became valuable by being a connection point, a true networker. Now back to the ecosystem. Eventually, all of these relationships would come back and they would water his grass. Eventually. Second point, another one to do with mindset. What's the worst that can happen? They can say, I don't want to talk to you. I don't like you. They can shut you down. What's the worst that can happen? If you go say hello to that person, if you go engage, they can either be rude or they can damage your ego. But is that so bad? Because what is the alternative? The alternative is you make a wonderful connection, a long-lasting relationship, and that person becomes so valuable within your network. What's the worst? The third point, you got TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, but you don't have LinkedIn? Okay, stop. I feel like I'm talking to my little brother. I don't care what industry you're in, please get on LinkedIn. It is so easy. And the organic reach that you have on LinkedIn, you actually don't have on those other platforms. LinkedIn is so valuable. I have literally connected with so many people that if I were to reach out to them on other platforms, I may not have gotten a response. Furthermore, these responses have turned into real relationships that have expanded outside of the internet to actually meeting in person. I've even gotten a job from LinkedIn. So much can happen there. So I would encourage you, it's extremely easy, just like Facebook. Put in your name, email, just a few sections of information, go on LinkedIn. If you're 18 plus, I hope this encourages you to make a LinkedIn account. Number 4, use the internet as a starting place. For instance, I moved from another state to this state, across the country. I wanted to find people to connect with in my industry, build my network here in this state. So what did I do? I used Meetup, and I knew that this was a starting place. Secret. Real valuable networking groups aren't necessarily just on the internet. They're just not. It's not something that generally happens. You don't generally just type in the information and then press enter into Google and then you find a networking group that can be valuable and provide you with the best connections. However, what did I say about ecosystem? Everybody is connected. So you've got to go out in order to find what you're looking for. Start at any place. Use that as a starting place. Then start asking questions. Go to these events, talk to people, ask them if they know anybody in your specific niche, and eventually you'll strike gold. That's what happens. You will strike gold. Another way to do this is to leverage your LinkedIn network. However, you need to build that up. I'm looking at you. You all with the TikTok, please get on LinkedIn. Number 5, use your introverted traits as a strength in networking. How? Well, in the beginning, I listed 2 things that were my barrier to networking. The first was overthinking, and the second was social exhaustion. So let's start with the overthinking. What I did was I broke this down. In order to overthink, you have to observe and you have to listen in social situations. So I tweaked this and I used it to my advantage. People don't want to talk about you. They care about themselves. The best conversations in networking that you can have is when you're asking the other person about themselves. Things that introverts are great at: listening, observing. So let me tell you my strategy. Go into a networking group. I'll do a once over of the room, say hello to everybody, walk around. See who's alone, because that's where I'm comfortable. That's what I thrive off of, one-on-one connection. I'm not as good in a group as I am person to person. So I'll then find that person, I will engage with them, say, hi, my name is Rachel, what do you do? and start the conversation. Have them start talking about themselves. Then immediately, I take my introverted skills, the listening, the comprehension, the observation, and I start to ask them distinct questions about what they do, who they are. This conversation most times is very beneficial because those are where the deepest connections are formed, when you can really observe what that person is about, what they do, and so much more. So then I say, you know what? Do you think there's anybody else in this room who I could get to know? Maybe they already have an existing network in the room. If not, I say, would you like to come along and we'll see who else we can network with, or draw someone else into the conversation. Those are just some of my tips in terms of overthinking. Now, my second one is social exhaustion. I'm still socially exhausted. It's still there. And I thought, how am I going to use this to my advantage? Well, for one, I do not schedule a networking group every single day. That's just not helpful for me and my introverted tendencies. I will be completely exhausted and I won't be of any use to anyone. But what I do is I will strategically schedule maybe one every 2 days or one every other day. So I will take that day to be alone and to get energy so I can be ready for the next social event. During this time, however, I will reflect. I will think, what went right, what went wrong, how can I improve? Furthermore, I will reflect on the conversation. What did I learn? Who are these people? Then I'll connect on LinkedIn. And I will continue the conversation and ask if they want to meet again. So that's my strategy, how I take my introverted tendencies, use them to my strengths in order to build my network. I hope you learned something from this video. I hope it was helpful to you. I know that in 2020, networking is definitely different. However, I am learning as well to use virtual networking to my advantage. And I've also created a space, 2020 Content Creators. And if you saw my interview with Benson, then you know what that is all about. I would love for you to join. If you are a content creator, please check out our Facebook group. The link will be in the description box below. But what I've found is that networking virtually can be almost as valuable as networking in person. If you'd like me to do a video on what I've found with networking virtually, then just let me know in the comments below. Guys, I am amazed with the growth of this channel. A week ago, I was at 100 subscribers. Now I'm almost at 150 subscribers. Please, please continue to like, comment, and subscribe. I truly appreciate you.